Three years. What happened was, after 24 hours, the whole team turned against Will. He was trying to order him and they wouldn't listen to him. I can understand when he's not going to come to training sessions. And
I breathed Lindum. I travelled an hour a week to get 10 minutes of game time for Lindum. Probably not the best commitment. Probably not the wisest decision I've made, but...
I know, those days were such a long, long time ago.
I will never forgive her until she apologises to me, George. And I was going to give it to you. I was going to be like, I've got a present for you, George. Here you go. And, you know, we'll do it in person. Great day.
It'll make nice toilet paper, I suppose.
That's rude.
Maybe we set up another six-a-side team and argue again.
Or maybe I own the team, get you to come in to manage, make sure you resign within 24 hours because everyone's turns your back on you, and then you come in as the player, and then I kick off, leave the club, and you become vice chairman. Full circle.
Maybe, you know, maybe I could have a bit more of the main character syndrome. And then
Yeah, you George.
You know, be like, let's not get into that just yet. We want to be friends first. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Wee Weekly Free. Today, we are here, just us two at the moment, isn't it, John?
It is, yes. But I hear you've got a guest lined up for today's episode.
Do we now? Oh, that's...
Oh, so you told me the other day. I couldn't go public with it though because it's top secret. But I'm really excited for today's guest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you two will be having a will of a time.
Oh.
Let's not get into that just yet. We want to be friends first in the first few minutes.
Yeah, let's be friends for the first 5 minutes at least.
And let's brawl. But no, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've seen me about with this person a few times. Not in a long while, though. I think it's been over a year. Anyway, without further ado, let's greet our guest, because today, like, if you look at these stats, we haven't spoken to each other properly online since the last Wee Weekly Free episode that we did together. But since then, we've both changed. We've both, you know, I ain't got any maturer at all, and Will has
no, you can tell,
grown into a lovely, amazing person. We're joined today by the huge presence of the one and only Will Stacey.
Hello, that's me.
Nice to see you, Will.
You too, George.
I see that the Lindum days are still very fond in the memory of yours.
They are indeed. The first ever shirt, the retired shirt, number 14, makes me sad.
I know, those days were such a long, long time ago. How have you been since those days?
Yeah, not been too bad. I'm still playing footy. I've changed my position to goalkeeper. I play on a Thursday with a bunch of older lads who are about 35 to 45, and we have an 11-a-side team for vets.
That's really good to hear. So, without further ado, I was just wondering, this is your first podcast in about 3 years. How is it feeling to be on a podcast of this magnitude again?
To be honest, George, I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to feel a little bit shaky.
you know what I mean? A little bit wee.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, I've contacted you since episode 1. I really wanted to come on here, be on your podcast because I like supporting you as my friend. It feels like it's my duty to do that. So, it's good to be here with you and John.
Absolutely, we've got a lot to talk about, especially with the friend thing. But first, let's bring it away to John, because John has a lot of things to ask you. Because all day, I'm sure the fans all day could listen to me ask you and chip away at your armour. But I think we're all bored of that now. So taking it away to John.
Oh, you put me on the spot here. See, I'm one of those that thinks, right, I don't write questions down. As soon as someone says, oh, I need you to ask a question, it'll just be the first thing that comes to my head. So it's going to be a bunch of random questions.
That's okay.
Some football related and some not so football related. The first one I want to ask you is, who within the current Lincoln squad is your favourite player at the moment?
Ooh, favourite at the moment. It's tough, but I'm going to go Makama. I was on his back a bit during the Kennedy era, but
Yeah, I think everyone was.
at the beginning, but then as the season went on last year, I kind of grew to like him a lot more, and I think he's been one of our better players this year. I think the best player has to be Tendai Dariqua, without a doubt. Great signing for the club.
I knew he was going to be a fantastic signing, but to think that he's ended up being the signing that he's turned out to be has surprised me. I mean, dare I say it, I don't even miss Lasse Sorenson anymore, which I know that's a bit hard for you to say, for you to hear, Will, but Lasse was my favourite player when he was here, and now
You definitely did that on purpose, didn't you, John?
He got shaky.
I don't like the way he's being treated by the Huddersfield fans, though.
He's injured a lot, though. But you're right, we don't miss Lasse Sorenson this season, which is a good thing. I was very worried in the summer when we sold him. Then we brought Tendai in. He's been fantastic. I said the only thing we are missing is, this is how my dad describes Lasse Sorenson. When he has to think, he's useless, but when he doesn't have to think, he's good. And we miss someone just running up and down the lines like a headless chicken.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lasse, if you ended up watching this.
I do think we are missing quite a few characters within the squad this season.
I think overall, until recently, of course, because I think discipline really does unfortunately ruin his game, and I think we know who I'm all talking about here. Porty O'Connor was probably one of the most consistent out-and-out performers, but then, of course, I think discipline does kind of eat away at him. But I do definitely agree with that take, Will. I think Dariqua has been the best player this season for sure. You know, the Premier League former ex-Burnley, Nottingham Forest experience is starting to leak into the squad.
In that famous game against Burnley, Tendai was playing?
Yes, he was.
You both knew that. I
remember the commentator going, Dariqua, and I was like thinking, who's this? Who's this?
It was scouted by Manchester United, I think, when he was at Chesterfield in League One, League Two, I think it was. David Moyes had actually scouted him for Manchester United as a potential signing, and then it just never materialised. And then he went to Burnley in the Championship, and he played for them as they got promoted. I don't think he played in the Premier League for them, but he played for them when they got promoted, and then he kind of he went below the radar for a little bit, and then he went to Forest.
And then he went to Wigan.
And then a year in Cyprus.
And then came to play for us.
Yep, came to play
for us. Can any of you remember what the Cyprus team is called?
Apollon Limassol.
Wow. Well,
showing my ball knowledge. Apollon Limassol. He was very good for him as well, apparently. When we played Arsenal in the under-21s game in pre-season, the bloke was sat next to me, and he said to me, I've got a friend out in Cyprus, and he says they all love him out there, they miss him. So
that is absolutely incredible, John. I did not expect you to remember that.
He beat me because I had Football Manager loaded up ready to tell you exactly where he played, but Johnson that for me, so
it was funny, actually. I signed him in a career mode. I think it was FIFA 23 career mode. It was funny because I bought him for Lincoln. Well, I say I bought. I think it was my first season in the Championship. I brought him in on a free transfer, and he wasn't very
good. Free transfer, the Lincoln City way.
He wasn't very highly rated. I think he was like 67, and I had Lasse, who was about 65. But Lasse was my starting right back until we got to the Premier League, I think. And Dariqua came in as a backup, and Dariqua was just amazing in every game he played. Sorenson wasn't very highly rated. He was amazing. And then when we got promoted, I sold him to Cardiff.
Talking about Dariqua and FIFA, FC 25, as you know, the newest game. I started a Lincoln City career at the beginning of the year. Dariqua ended up retiring at Lincoln after helping guide Lincoln to their first ever European title, as in the Europa League, for winning the FA Cup in the Championship. I don't know what happened there. We destroyed Spurs, and then lifting the Premier League in our first season in the Prem.
You sure you've not got your game on amateur?
No, I've had on world class, play counter-attacking football.
That's almost as realistic as your Anthony Gordon signing in the second season.
No, I can. I was about to say that I can provide some clarity and some context. It was FIFA 21, George.
Still.
No, for context, I was in.
Was it a free transfer? Was it a free transfer?
No, it wasn't a free transfer. I was in my second season in the Premier.
Nonsense.
He was 78 rated at Everton. He wasn't very good. And to be honest with you, he was one of the lowest rated players in my team at that point. But he came in and he did a job. No, but I tried to get into career mode this year. I just can't get into it for some reason. I don't like the new menus. I just can't get into it.
No, I just think EA as a whole have failed the casual players of the game, as in terms like people like me who don't really play Ultimate Team because one, it's paid to win, and I don't want to spend my pay slip on FIFA points. I can go put it all on black in the casino. They don't add anything to career mode. I'm still waiting for the Vanarama National Leagues to be added.
I don't think we'll ever get that. I've been waiting 6 years for that. I don't think we'll ever get that.
You know, we need more leagues, more national teams, more licensed tournaments. At this rate, I think we'll just fizzle out.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that, you know, FIFA, FC, it will always be FIFA in my heart. Always. I just think it's fizzling out. It's not interesting anymore. We're all grown up, and I think the little kids, I don't know, the magic's gone from FIFA. A bit like the FA. I say the FA Cup. I think there's been a few upsets still this season, but the magic, the FA Cup isn't the same, and FIFA isn't the same.
No, I agree with you, and I don't know whether or not it's a nostalgia thing, but I also think now that the quality is just in just everything in general is just decreased.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What was the best FIFA you guys played?
FIFA 11.
FIFA 15.
FIFA 17 is the goated 15. FIFA 17 is the goated game.
Yeah, I do like
FIFA was
FIFA 17.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because you had Alex Hunter, didn't you? He had Zlatan at United. Goated days.
He did.
Rooney. Bloody hell.
It was the last FIFA without Lincoln.
He was a bit past it then, George, I think.
It's a shame that Grimsby were in it and Lincoln weren't, but, you know, it can't always be perfect with FIFA, can you?
Moving on.
I would have loved for that 16-17 National League winning season, first year of the National League, it's on BT Sport, now on FIFA, and for Lincoln City to have that squad just forever historically archived in the FIFAs.
Yeah, but wasn't there a year where we were in the game and Grimsby weren't?
Yeah.
Yes.
The year they went down a couple of years ago.
And then they got to the London Stadium in the final, didn't they? And they won. I remember that.
Against Solihull Moors, I was gutted. I absolutely love Solihull Moors. It's a shame they're not doing as good this year. But
they're not. Do you know what the weird thing is? And don't shoot me, but I actually want Grimsby to get promoted so we can have the Derby Day again, because I kind of miss that. I just want a guaranteed 6 points in a season.
But the issue is, though, I don't think if Grimsby came up, it would be a guaranteed 6 points for us.
I know.
Purely because they're going to have the momentum. And look, next year, I would like to see us challenge for the top 6, but if you look at the 3 teams coming down, they're going to spend. Huddersfield are going to chuck everything at it. If Bolton don't go up, they're going to chuck everything at it. It's going to be a very hard league next year to finish in the top half.
No, I agree.
Absolutely. So, Will, so we spoke a bit about the Imps. Let's talk a bit more about your betting then. So, with Lasse Sorenson leaving Lincoln City, how much has this impacted your net growth and your daily winnings?
He just bets on Directro every week.
I almost did. No, I don't gamble every day.
Every other day?
Once a week when I get paid. Or if I have any spare money left, then I might chuck a £5 on Lincoln to win, which obviously has cost me a bit, but when Lasse played for Lincoln that season, when I betted heavily on him, I didn't bet heavily on him last season. It was only the season before. I think all in all, he lost me I think I lost about 400 quid. Which is almost a tenner a week. Well, tenner a game. It's more.
Do you hope that you could one day go up to Lasse and be like, can you just transfer me back 400 quid that you cost me?
He doesn't need to. He gave me a shirt. I just need him to sign it for me and I can frame it.
Really? No way. That's really nice of him. That I can actually vouch for you. Lasse Sorenson is potentially one of the nicest people that you could ever meet as a footballer. He is the nicest footballer. I love.
Do you know what he said to me?
I hope he went nasty.
I'm not allowed to swear, am I? So I have to.
Oh, you can.
Be okay. I'll use exact words. So
bloody hell, we wouldn't have had you on the podcast if it was swearing, mate. It wasn't allowed.
he won the away player of the year, and obviously Clive Nates stood next to me. I'm in with the big boys. Clive Nates. Well, we lost the co-host. Looks like it's me and you now, George. Anyway, so I went to Clive and said, "Oh, Clive, do you think after the presentation, so I hate to be a pain, okay, but do you reckon I get Lasse Sorensen's match shirt?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't see why not." So my granddad goes, "What's happening?" I said, "I've just asked Clive if I can have Lasse's match worn shirt," and Clive said, "Yeah." Harvey heard it. Harvey went over to Lasse, asked Lasse. Lasse said yes. Then Granddad went over to Lasse. I was like, bloody hell, I'm 22. I'm a big boy now. Or was I 20? Yeah, I was 22. And anyway, then Lasse gave his shirt to Kennedy's kids. I was heartbroken. And then Lasse brought me his first half shirt out. I went, "Oh, I know you." I went, "Yeah." He goes, "You're that guy who keeps betting on me, and when you don't bet on me, I score." I went, "Yeah." He called me a fucking idiot. I'll treasure that moment forever.
Did he call you an idiot?
He called me a fucking idiot. Sweet Danish prince. I'll never forget that. Should get it tattooed on me.
You should get Lasse Sorenson doing the imp pose, fucking idiot at the bottom.
That'd be mental. Maybe get on my calf so no one can see it.
He was I think I'd go as far to and apart from Lee Frecklington. And I remember talking to you, and it's the same for you. Both of our favourite ever Lincoln player is Lee Frecklington, if I'm right. Or I don't know if it's changed recently. But
no, Lee Frecklington was probably one of the first names I can remember, other than the likes of Jamie Forrester, Danny Erngesson, Moses Swabu, as you know, Adif Yusuf, whatever his name is, Hamza Ben Sharif, but Lee Frecklington was my favourite. When my dad told me he'd left to go to Peterborough, I cried, and that's probably where my hatred for Peterborough United has come from. Seeing my favourite player.
Oh man, Keith as well was in the act. Keith Alexander. I remember when he went to Peterborough, and he was like, "Yeah, come on, Lee, you know where the money is." It's crazy times. It might have been just after he left. I don't know. It was around the same time, anyway. But no, what I'm trying to say is Lee's still my favourite player, but if I have to think of recent memory other than maybe Reedy, it'd probably be Lasse. He's definitely ever since we've been in the Football League post-Reed era, I'd say Lasse's been my favourite player.
He was just quality. He didn't fit as a midfielder, and Kennedy just saw that and went, "Nah, playing on the right wing back, mate." And then Tom Shaw against Michael Appleton's Charlton when he was in charge went, "Nah, mate, you're playing right wing tonight." It was like, bloody hell, what's happening here? You know, Lasse had 11 shots that game. That season, I think he recorded 15 shots in total. No, it wasn't 15 because he scored 5 goals. I think it was like 20 shots that season, and 11 came from that one game.
Wow. Do you know what's really interesting about that is the fact that good old Lasse Sorenson, I just remember seeing that and I was just thinking, this got to be one of the only things that Mark Kennedy got right, other than, obviously, defensively solid football, but not much going forward to be desired. But less said about Kennedy the better, but Rome wasn't built in a day, Will. But what
really
I will say,
wasn't.
he wasn't wrong. To his credit, he's not wrong. Rome wasn't built in a day. But
No.
what does that mean? It's going to take about 150 years to get this squad sorted.
I didn't quite understand. I knew Kennedy wanted to play defensive football. That's good, but that's your philosophy. You've got to have an attacking one as well. So what we did, we weren't playing counter-attacking football.
Mm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Last season, outside the top six, we had so outside the top six, we had the highest defensive record that season. And inside, if you conclude the whole entire league, I think I might be right. I don't know if you're going to fact check me or not, but I think last season we had the second best defensive record in the league, and only Derby kept out one more goal and kept one more clean sheet than Jensen that season.
Wow. Okay, that is interesting. I know that we was on track for the most amount of draws in. Well, we've got the most amount of draws in the modern era of the Football League, but most amount of draws ever was 23, held by, was it Plymouth? I think it might be. I know the number was 23. And we got 21. So it was a couple shy of that number.
If you look back at last season, realistically, they were saying, the Wigan game cost us. The Wigan game didn't cost us. We're always going to lose eventually. I'm just glad we didn't lose against Oxford. Right, because that would have hurt before the last two games. The game I look at is Northampton away last season. 2-0 up. Should be seen out, draw 2-2. Where did we finish? 1 point outside the playoffs.
Absolutely. Did you know what? You bring an excellent point up. It probably was that game you look at, because going 2-0 up, it should be done deal, shouldn't it? You're literally like signed and sealed, and more set on than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury ever fighting, I tell you. But then, unfortunately, we get Northampton. Now, they've always been in all seriousness, they've always been a nice, respectable club. I remember going into the Football League. It was the second season, it was the one we won. And the first game of the season, you had Big John Akinde. I remember seeing a tunnel video, and they had the bloody Liquidator theme playing, and I just thought, that's awesome.
It's good. I mean, if it wasn't for my e-sporting days during COVID, I don't think I'd have, a close connection to a couple of the football clubs. So, one that hold dearly to my heart purely because of the esports team is Rochdale. Love them. They love Kebab Man. And second is probably Northampton. I do have a soft spot for Fleetwood, but I'll say those two are my probably closest. Not my second and third team. Couldn't stand them who were playing them, but I'll always keep an eye out for them. Maybe I should bet on them instead. Maybe they'd win me money.
More than Lincoln, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what the great thing is, right? I look at it. We all have football teams that we are particularly fond of. Mine was... I've always supported one club in my life, and one club only, and that's Lincoln City. But I've always had a soft spot, and I can't help but think, wow, that is really impressive to see them doing so well this season. Damn it, Liverpool. But Nottingham Forest, I just find their club ethic similar to ours in a lot of sense, different in other ways, don't get me wrong. But I also like the fact that that they're a people's club, and you can tell with the fact that they're... Same with Leicester, although a few Forest fans are now going to hate me. Same with Leicester, though. Leicester and Forest are both very much people-orientated, and I just love... It's a big stadium, right, compared to little old Central Bank.
Of course.
However, you still feel close to the action. The ground has great, outstanding atmosphere. It respects its history as well. Even when they were in League One, the lowest of the low, the loyal fans always respected the history. The club always remembered who made them. I just loved that, and I like the fact that Lincoln are kind of going that route now with a big wall with all the names that have served us well, and I just love that about football in general.
Now I see where your Clough obsession came from. To be honest, I didn't know that about you, so now I know where that's come from.
Yeah.
I can put that to bed and go, that's nice. No, look, you should know my second team. You know I have a second team. You should know this second team. We covered it a lot back when we did the footballing world together. Do you remember my second team, George?
Stamford.
No, it's not Stamford.
Oh, Borussia Mönchengladbach.
That's better. Up the falls. Come on. Jesus Christ. Stamford. I did a bit of media work for them, and that was actually quite nice. Doing the PA system, doing interviews with players, but it just felt a bit weird sometimes. Like, we were supposed to be doing interviews, and for some reason the manager saying, "No, we're not going to have anyone do interviews tonight," and the board said, "Yeah, no interviews." I'm like, what? So, I wasn't getting paid, so I just stopped going.
Yeah, exactly. But again, like, you're trying to do media, and they're like, "No, we're not doing media tonight." It just kind of defeats the object of you being there a little bit, doesn't it?
The only thing I liked about working for Stamford was during COVID, they went on the FA Trophy run. I think they got to it was the quarterfinals against Hereford, so they had 2 home draws, luckily. So the round before the quarters, I was there. I think it was like 2-1, 3-1 or something like that. And John Challoner scored a goal, and he scored at Wembley. I can't remember which team it was for, but he's still playing for Stamford. So I interviewed him about like looking forward to getting to Wembley, like looking forward to playing the next round of the cup. No, you must be pleased that you scored, and you're very close to Wembley. You're a couple of games away from Wembley now. Do you think going all the way? And stuff like that. That was quite nice. Then they played Hereford in the quarter-final, and they lost 2-1, despite Hereford being down to like 10 men for like 75 minutes, I think. And do you know who the manager was for Hereford? Josh Gowling.
No way.
It was Josh Gowling.
Yeah, because he had a spell at Torquay, didn't he? Did Josh Gowling? Man, might have not been defensively formidable for the Imps, but he certainly was for Hereford.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, because it was COVID, no one was allowed to go watch football in person. So I kept my role as the PA guy, and I wasn't allowed to take any photos, wasn't allowed to like text anyone that I was there. I was literally just sat in the stand with a microphone ready to announce the goal scorers, who was coming on and off, how much longer had been added on, and just be like, I'm getting to see live football. That was the peak of my life during COVID.
I bet it was. Ah, man, that you're luckier than most. You're luckier than most. Yeah. I mean, I got to live football for a while. We both did during COVID, but I didn't.
Sorry?
No, George, I think you might need to get yourself a new co-host there. If he's not committed to the cause, he ain't committed, Like, just imagine being like, I don't know, imagine being a board Lincoln and being in a board meeting in Lincoln, right? And let's say you're the chairman and I'm the manager, right? Right, see you later, I'm going. You just walk away and you call back, and you disappear. It's...
Oh man, that is a lovely, lovely view there, John. I appreciate you for showing us. Anyway, so you spent the time at Stamford and that. What was your favourite moment as a football fan of a whole? It doesn't have to be for Lincoln. I assume it will be because it's your club, but what's your favourite moment as a whole of football? It can be England, it could be Borussia Mönchengladbach, it could be anything.
Is a very tough question because there's so many. Are we talking about specifically just like football games or what football has allowed me to do?
We can do both if you like. Double-sided question.
Oh, okay, that's good. So in terms of like what football has given me, like as a fan, I would say nothing would ever be better than beating Macclesfield 2-1 the last home game of the season to win the National League. That was a special day because we had to win the points. If not, we would have had to go on away to whoever will play Maidstone, win that,
0-0, won it,
and win away, which you don't want to do. So I'm glad we won it at home. As for stuff that football has given me, if it wasn't for my media job at Stamford, George, I would have never been allowed to play in that charity game, and you definitely would never have played in that charity game either.
Absolutely.
You haven't got my attention now, by the way.
Cheers for that. Anyway, what?
Gosh.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming back, John. It's a pleasure to see you again, buddy. But yeah, no. So your favourite moment, definitely the charity game was good, wasn't it? And you know,
I pulled a stinker in goal. I don't know why I played in goal. I was awful.
Oh, bloody hell. I mean, those big goals, you know.
It's not the fact that it was a big goal. It's just the fact that you can see when we all have that fight together how far away I'm stood from everybody else with my medal off.
Yeah.
I've still got the medal. It's in my car.
Yeah. That's fair. I know. I mean, again, like it's different. I think you know you really wanted to put a performance in that you're proud of.
Win.
And absolutely, and I think he was frustrated at the time. I remember thinking, I'm just happy to be here. And I am a competitive guy, don't get me wrong. But I think at the time, because Bobby Copy and thing, I just never played in a match of that high profile before. So I was just so like, not imposter syndrome, but I was just taking it all in and making the most of the day, I think.
And you robbed me of a save as well. I made a fantastic save and you called it for a goal kick. Which, looking back, like, in the moment I was like, yes, a goal kick, brilliant. But looking back, I was like, that was a fantastic save. You gave it a goal kick.
Oh, no.
Man, oh man.
It's still on foot. You can still do something with the edit, especially with artificial intelligence these days. It can go down in history as a save if you want it to, Will. Trust me.
Do you still have that video? Like, because I know you compiled the highlights and did commentary over it.
The whole video. The whole...
I know you did. Oof. That must have been rough.
Do you still have the Rochdale videos? Or did you lose them?
The Rochdale videos? What do you mean?
You played a full game, didn't you? Like a charity game or something at
Rochdale. I mean, look, I asked Reese, when did we play? We played during COVID. We shouldn't have done this. So we basically, by the club, we got offered to use the pitch to play a game of football because we're representing them, and then we're like saying, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's get an opponent. So we've got Rotherham E-Sports. In fact, it was a great weekend. I got absolutely twatted. You know how like bars were like supposed to shut at 9 o'clock? Yeah, we found this. We're in this bar and went next door to the other bar. Yeah, and we stumbled out at 5:30 in the morning. Bearing in mind, I had to drive back home the next day. That was a rough drive, but going back to playing at Rochdale, that was good. I enjoyed that. Kebab man playing right back, almost scored. Story of my life. Bit like at Lindum. The only Lindum player never to have a shot on target. It'll happen one day. I promise.
But the worst part is, Will, right, and this is really going to be the kicker, even I've had a shot on target for this.
I know you have. I'm the oldest player and I'm the worst player. Ex-player.
Oh, man.
But no, I tried to get I asked Reese for the video, so it's been about 4 years. It's 4 years next month since we went up. And I tried, right? I asked Reese several times for the video for you, because I said to myself, my mate George likes like edit like football like matches and do a bit of his own commentary and get someone to join as like co-commentary. Like, can you send me the video so I can send it to him if you're happy for us to do it? If you're happy for him to do it, and I'll bring it back, and then you guys can see what you think. You don't like it, forget it. If you love it, happy days. But he said he's trying to get the video, but we just in the end kind of just haven't heard anything. It's a shame because I would like to watch that match back because my mate Dunk scored a beautiful free kick, 35 yards out. Don't know how it went in. It was a terrible free kick, but it went in. It hit the back of the net.
So you say Rochdale.
Yeah.
Was this at the actual Rochdale FC stadium?
Yeah, the Crown Royal Arena. Oh, beautiful ground. I actually went there when I was a child.
My condolences, mate.
It's a solid ground. I went there when I was a kid. So I was staying in Manchester with my grandparents, and this was like back when Danny and getting on the team, and we had an all-white away strip. We drew 3-3. That was the first time I went to an away game. But playing on the actual pitch was great. I was thinking, but Brendan Johnson's played on this pitch. You know, Lewis Munsmer's played on this pitch, George Grant, Teo Eden, Alex Palmer. I might be able to score on this pitch. No, the defender beat me to the ball, and, you know, there we go. That's a sprint back. That's a sprint 85 yards back. I was out of shape. I had to come off.
One of the all-time moments. One of the all-time.
Was it straight after that moment as well?
I was like, well, are you okay? No, I need to come off. Sorry, boys. I went back on. I went on and off. Like, we just stood rotating. I absolutely loved every minute of it, to be honest. And, you know, it's just one of them where you go, you'd like to score, but and then I'm thinking, I appreciate the actual core group of players. So, like, Reese, Mig, Pete, Dorman. There's someone else I'm missing off as well. There's a fifth person. I forgot his name, but he does the commentary on the games for Rochdale. I forgot his name. That's a shame, because I quite liked him. But they were all playing. I was like, I appreciate these guys want to score, so there's a penalty. I'll let them take it. But deep down, you know, I was secretly wishing to smash one in top bins last minute, but just never happened.
Oh man! Oh yes, though it Dunkley did it instead.
Yeah, to be honest, I stood next to him. What I should have done was stand far back, then take the free kick, because he would have shot anyway, and just run onto it and have it an easy tap in. But there we go.
It is what it is. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, as they say.
It's a great. I've got it stored up in here. Beautiful to watch back when I'm at work. Bear in mind, their pitch was ruined that season, so it was covered in sand. He went to celebration, went to do a knee slide, fell on his face, knees bleeding.
Is this the season they were relegated to League Two?
Yes, it is the season.
Oh, no wonder the season. No wonder they got relegated that season. Then after the pitch was a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it was when they had Barry Murphy in charge, and then they sacked him, and then did they have Jim? I think no, they got Jim McNulty in charge now, but surely he hasn't been at the club for the whole time.
No, I'm pretty sure McNulty was a player back then.
Yes, he was.
I think he was their captain. It might have been one of the captains, I'm not sure. But no, Barry Murphy's gone on to work in Premier League academies, and he's an assistant manager somewhere now, I think.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, Will. We met online, yes, and you was...
Don't say my age, because it made me look like a predator. Because I'm
King Danny
now.
Cowley. I wasn't. You dug yourself a deep hole there, Mr. Stacey. Cry your salty tears into that shirt. I can hear the police sirens from here.
Oh no, I'm done. I'm finished. I can't.
Oh dear, you've dug yourself
this
up
one.
there.
You looked very young for your age anyway, so it was fun.
Thank you. Do I still look young now, or was that just back then?
You do.
Thank you, George.
Generally, yeah. No, you've aged very well for your mid-20s. You know.
Thank you.
But no, we met. You was King Danny Cowley. I remember now. You was King
Yes.
and then you went to Appleton's Apples on Instagram.
Yes.
I remember this. Thank you for reminding me. So then we spoke on there. I was like, oh, shall we do a football YouTube channel together? I think it was in the looms, you know, because we used to call and you'd fire up Football Manager and we'd talk. We did that. And the Football Manager, the footballing world rather was you know, we enjoyed it. I have to admit, I think that time caught up with us both. I personally have to openly admit, because I'd be a big hypocrite if I wasn't to admit, my work rate was simply not good enough. And I can hold my hands up and say that now.
George, I mean, you were young. It happens. It wasn't like, I just wanted us to do it and enjoy it. You know, hoping we'd reach a couple hundred thousand, maybe a couple million subscribers to, you know, where we can live free and just record footballing videos. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with Nearan FNG YouTube channel.
Not the one that you stole all the ideas
took
from.
his idea of FTW and turned it into FTF and went, that's what we're doing. That is our selling point. Full on robbed him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the time having raised eyebrows thinking, people are going to see that. You can't cover that up.
This is our selling point.
You cannot cover that up. I was thinking, but
I slipped up as well, and a couple of times I called it like FTW. Went, yeah, it's football this Friday. I was like,
oh no,
criminal.
That. So so not only was we talking, we was also stealing content at the time, which
yes,
it's inspiration. Inspiration taking in.
We got a copyright strike as well.
Did you actually?
Yeah, because because I'm quite like a bit of nostalgic, Premier League intros, as you would like to say. So I created a montage of like some of the best footballing bits and had written in the stars playing over in the background, and ending on when Lincoln City lift the National League trophy. And I'm on my way, hey, that bit, and then we just got copy striked. I was like, okay, I've learnt my lesson. Take it over to Max Gavin to create as an intro.
Max Gavin? No way, him?
Yeah.
We've known him for that long.
Yeah. He stopped his YouTube to become a lawyer, which I think is the biggest mistake of his life.
Oh!
It's not the biggest mistake.
Different Max Gavin. Different. Oh, okay, I thought you meant the one at the football.
Well, I thought that was Max.
I only know the one who keeps liking my posts on Twitter.
Is there two? Is there two, Max? It might be the same.
It can't be, because Max haven't had a YouTube channel, and then...
But anyway, so we moved on to that. I did, yes. I did definitely, at the time, go, I need a bit of help with the football here. And I remember you saying that you were doing coaching. So I thought, oh, brilliant. This is like a get rich quick scheme, get the qualified coaching. Worst decision of my life.
It went tits up, George. That was the worst decision Lindum have ever made. In terms of squad morale. In terms of squad morale, that is the single worst decision.
I'm glad we could both laugh about it. It was.
In terms of history and law, it's the best decision. There's two sides.
It definitely added some drama there.
We're about to dig up some deep history, some deep Lindum law.
For sure. I think this was where me and you started to get a bit more distant as well, if you remember. I think because we're both quite big characters, we are, and I think we clashed at times. Because you saw things going the other way, and I think I saw things going the other way. And I think that looking back, I suppose I thought things, and you thought things, and that just happens. And I think for years, I'll be completely honest, I kind of resented you a little bit for that, if I had to be honest. And I'm mature enough. I'm mature enough to open it up on a podcast now, because I think I was a bit. Like, we all change, we all mature, and I think that, we've both changed since then. But, no, I definitely think that there was a bit of a thing, and we both went distant. But then, but that was an interesting time, because I wasn't right mentally, and I think we were both young, and I think because we was both young, we weren't. It's a big responsibility, man, to be leading a group of players when you're both young and immature. And I felt that perhaps if I was to look back on it, obviously I wouldn't have done some of the things I've done, and I'm sure you look at yourself and think the same.
100%.
But looking back at it, I just wished that I had more fun with it and didn't take it as seriously. You had your goal, you had your vision. I mean, I remember you pestering me to come drive to Lincoln, where I live, is an hour's drive. I was out of touch with fuel prices, I'll be honest.
So not even to be guaranteed a full. How long were the games? 30 minutes.
40 minutes, but I think they because the refs were so incompetent, it ended up being 36, didn't it? And
so to not even get a full game time for my hour's drive there and an hour back, I was like, why would I want to come? And I was like, fuck it.
Have you got anything better to do?
I'm coming down. I still remember that interview. I feel bad for Connor. God, I did not half go hard on him in that interview.
Wow.
Basically blamed him for the entire loss.
Wow.
Still do, but can't place all the blame on him.
I remember that. Yeah, you did go hard on Connor, didn't you? Oh my gosh. Sorry, John. I know this has been a big segment where me and Will are talking, but yeah,
no, it's all right.
I hope you're enjoying this listen anyway.
I'm finding it fascinating. Just sat here as like somebody who knows a little bit about the history, not a lot about the history, but just like a little bit.
You know the we've got time bit, don't you?
I mean,
before
how
I
could I not
joined,
know about George? That was literally all you went on about in year 11. Oh, Jack Danby, the fat bastard. Oh, she's a terrible
don't expose me like that.
we've
John.
got time.
It literally was. Lindum was my life for a few years. I'll be honest.
But the thing is, I was a coach, and then I was a manager for 24 hours before I became an official player.
So you went from being a manager to being a player?
Yeah, because of
try not
I don't know if
to,
I'm legally allowed to mention her, but
try
I've done
not
it
to
anyway.
say her name. Yeah, try not to.
She was an interesting character.
I just can't be asked to hash up stuff from 5 years ago and be like, "Why are you mentioning my mum, bro?" But it's like, yeah, but no. But basically, I'll tell you through it. So basically, Will came in. I was like, you know what, coaching ain't for me. I led the team morale very well and stuff, but I just at the time I wasn't creative with my drills. And I think I didn't believe in myself enough. Now, I would just come up with stuff on the spot because I, But then I just think I was clouded with so much self-doubt. I didn't believe in myself as much as I do now. Self-doubt was a big thing that I've struggled with throughout my life, and I think that hindered me. Now, if I was to do it, I could just come up with drills on the spot, and we're going to do it for this game, John. We will. I'm not even allowed to say that name because I don't want to...
Hang on. Is there It's not Lindum involved, is it? Because if it is, where the hell's my invitation?
No, it's not Lindum involved, don't worry. It's our old school. Yeah,
put it away.
Come up with drills like that. But at the time, I was thinking, Inspire Plus, this guy's going to be... He knows how to coach a team, you should hope.
He's got the X factor. You sent me a contract, George. It was for a professional contract. I've still got it in my emails.
Yeah.
I think. And I'm just like, well, okay, I'll sign it. Signed it. And then, yeah, the next 24 hours unfolded.
Is the Lindum FC player or manager?
This one. So I went coach, manager, player. I basically I started at the bottom, got promoted to being the boss, and then got promoted to customer. The triangle of life.
I mean, it was certainly a unorthodox way of doing things, wasn't it?
To be honest, looking back at it, it was an unorthodox kind of move because I told you I couldn't commit every week to training. I was going to commit to every game to be there, but I couldn't commit to training. I think that's what annoyed the boys.
I agree. It was the wrong decision. As soon as you said I can't commit each week, I shouldn't have hired you.
You should have fired me on the spot.
No, not because she was bad or anything, but because you needed commitment. And the thing is, I had everything anyway. I just, for some reason, used to think, I'm not good enough.
So did you promote yourself then, George? Is that what happened?
What happened was, after 24 hours, the whole team turned against Will. He was trying to order him and they wouldn't listen to him. I can understand when he's not going to come to training sessions and they was looking at me and then all of a sudden someone new comes in. It's natural. It's natural.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
But I take responsibility for that because, I put you in that tough spot, Will. And that's on me. That's on me. But, looking back at it, things happened like that, and there was another third party getting involved, and she came in, and it was been all over at the time, and I remember thinking, okay, so it's kind of like a freeway battle here. Moving on to that, so this whole thing is, I was like, okay, I'm going to bite down on the gum shield here and manage it and learn some stuff on the spot, and grow my self-belief, which it did to a point. Basically, I remember this woman coming in, and she was whispering in their ears, "Oh, this is not good enough, blah, 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 let me in charge. And I remember a couple of other players coming to me and saying, "What's she doing?" And if you remember, Lincoln Flames had a team, they disbanded before and joined Lindum. And it was those players that were getting their ears whispered into and turning. So this is what happened. There was why don't you let her be manager? It's we've all together built this from the ground up just for, this woman to come in and just think she's entitled. And now I've grown a lot of respect for her because we've spoken since, and she's actually a really nice woman. But at the time, at the time, yes, lines and reality were blurred for sure.
Well, I will never forgive her until she apologises to me, George. But I've moved on. But I wouldn't stop and have a glass of wine and a pint with her until she apologises. Or she can pay the first round.
This will give me time to explain everything before we get into Will's points. So yes, Lincoln Flames formed on the back of her. She left, and the boys left with her. A few of the boys left with her. We was down to 5 players, and you know the story of. I'll let you take it away.
She started slagging me off to the group of lads I was trying to mould into be the next superstars, because I didn't come into Lindum for the principal to be short-term manager. I came in for the principal because George told me something, and I thought this could work. Whether or not it ignites in something bigger, which unfortunately it didn't, but George said he wanted to make Lindum into a full-on 11-a-side team. And I was like, if I can be here up until just before then and put the foundations in place, then we're all good. And obviously she didn't quite like that. I didn't get a chance to speak to her. And then...
take us through it. So what happened? She dug some dirt on you that wasn't true again? Because there's a lot of... I never had any personal contact with the person in question, nor her son. It just came about that you put me in the group chat, everyone was excited. I was I'm excited to get down. Here's what I'm trying to set out, here's what we should realistically be doing. And then just a week later, and then basically just I don't know, in the morning, everything started kicking off. I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden the boys just turned overnight. I don't know if there was anything to do with her, or if it generally just because they just didn't like the fact of having a manager that was only going to come once a week to training. I don't really know. I know she didn't dig up any dirt on me because there was no dirt. Things were made up, and I won't go into them, but they were made up. And I remember that, and I was thinking, why are they spreading rumours? And this just wholly ignited the Lindum Flames derby even more. Originally, what was meant to be just a charity game in opposition to play Lindum turned into a big rivalry. And I remember that sparked the first match. Did you? It was quite an intense game for Alan.
It was. Was it 3 legs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 legs. That's different.
Yeah, it's because George has 3 legs.
So it's a bit like the FA Cup games in the 1990s. If it ended in a draw, it'd go to a replay. If the replay ended in a draw, it'd go to another replay. A bit like that.
It was basically like a football boxing trilogy, Ali Frazier, but in football. So you had a trilogy, but it was originally meant to be one game that defined it all. Couldn't split it. We won the second leg and was we've got bragging rights. And then the trilogy came about because they joined our league. The trilogy was never meant to happen, but it did. And they have the league game over us.
It was foretold.
But now, because it's one apiece, I've always sat with the idea of what if number 4 happened. You know what I mean? Number 4 needs to happen.
In turn, Lindum has the bragging rights, if I recall from a very, very early interview. Okay, then let's look at the table. Oh, they're bottom of the league and almost conceded 100 goals. We've conceded 20 fewer and won 2 more games. You've conceded almost 100 goals. Congratulations.
most goals conceded in a season award. Congrats.
If I remember correctly, yeah, they may have beat us, but they conceded over 100 goals, so they got the award for most goals conceded, and Lindum finished above them with more points.
You've watched the TikToks, haven't you? I remember.
I'm not even on TikTok, George. It just pops up on Instagram every now and then.
That's incredible. History books will say Lindum finished above them forever, and that's just something they can't really deny.
But Lincoln Flames, if you ever want to tango again, we will be prepared, and we will smash you. And I'll even play.
Absolutely, I was saying this in the Wes podcast. I want to get you out of hiding, Lincoln Flames. You've been hiding for a long time. Lindum's bloody B team sit there, you know. You used to say, "Oh, your Lincoln Flames B team." Remember, who Respect Your Elders was founded way before you were. And we made you. You wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for us. You didn't even film your games. You was made by Dan Clay to know about this football.
No. Oh, the snake. I tell you what, as well, Lincoln Flames. You think you might win, but guess what? Big Wezzer is now Slim Wezzer, and he will knock you all out. That's my favourite footballing nickname. I was like, yes, Big Wez. I didn't want to say Wesley or Wez. And I was like, looked at him, and they're like, fucking hell, you're Slim. Yes, Slim Wez. I hope he loves that nickname. If not, I'll be in trouble. But
I mean, I remember that was so funny. But no, I just think to myself that needs deciding before we're all old and grey. You know, that needs deciding because it's one apiece.
We'll set it up next year.
Wherever it's got to be decided. Lincoln Flames.
Whether it's on Mars or the Moon, we will defeat you.
We'll fight them at the beaches. We'll fight them at the Lord landing docks. You know, we'll fight them.
We'll fight you on the 3G pitches outside of Cinny Bank before we have to. We will destroy you.
We'll play you in the car park, FIFA Street style at Sainsbury's. We will never surrender.
I will be there. I will be there as a neutral, but I will be there, George. Do not worry.
And believe me, you know, they want to play that game. I'm telling you now, we will defeat Lincoln.
They're gagging for it. They're gagging for a chance to beat Lindum.
Man, I mean, that's two podcasts in a row that this has been brewing. First podcast thinking, yeah, I want to do this trilogy. It's never going to happen. Second time it's been mentioned now. That's two call-outs. You didn't respond to the last call-out. We'll respond to this call-out. I don't care about Call of Duty. I don't care about West Common. They're nothing. I want Lincoln Flames. Quadrilogy, now.
Why do I get the feeling you'd just walk all over them?
Because we would.
Because we would.
Like, from what you're saying, Will, from what you've been saying, they're not a very good team, are they?
I've never actually played against them, so I wouldn't really know.
I think they'll take away the 4 or 5 years you guys have had where you've not played them. I think you guys would genuinely beat them.
Probably.
Not saying I know any of their players because I don't, but I think if you got the band together, I think you would show them up.
We're a lot more wiser now.
The biggest comeback of all time. Although George, I do have something to say about Lindum though. You're completely off topic, I know. So I never actually knew the boys stopped playing. Right, no one told me. So obviously the club's disbanded, right? But it just means that I'm the sole survivor of Lindum. My title's never been changed. I never got told the boys weren't playing. In fact, I'm no longer the vice chairman. I am the chairman of Lindum FC. Okay, we've got no players. Do I need to resign?